everybody. Welcome back to the Damn Yankees podcast, produced by Seven Ashes Productions. I'm Megan. That's my brother Ryan, and down there is our baseball dummy producer Cliff.
Hi.
Hi.
All right, let's get into it.
Cheery hi from Cliff today.
Yeah, sorry if I was a grump last week. I was told I was.
You were a grump last week.
Huh?
You were a grump last week. See, Ryan agrees. He just doesn't want to say it.
I was just sitting here.
You were a grump.
Just mind my business.
Anyway, so in the last week, I guess it's less than a week, whatever. In the last week, we have seen, 5 more games, and they've won 2 more series. So the Yankees wrapped up.
2 series to start it off, 2-1 in both.
They wrapped up the Giant series, won that series 2-1, and they wrapped up the Philly series yesterday. In our world right now on Wednesday. By the time
Thursday.
The podcast comes out. Well, they wrapped it up on Wednesday, right?
Yes, you're right.
They were off
it is
today.
Thursday.
It was sad today. No Yankee baseball today.
Yeah, I had to play a game of the show because I needed Yankee baseball, and I didn't get the real
it's sad
one,
when
so
you have to go a day without it.
Alternate universe, one where Stanton is hitting over 300, and they both Judge and Stanton have over 20 home runs at the end of May.
Wouldn't that be amazing? If only.
In reality, I would love to have at least one season of Stanton and Judge hitting 50 apiece.
That'd be pretty cool.
That'd be nice.
Having their own little competition back and forth. It'd be pretty cool if that was this year.
Pretty cool.
Anyway, so they wrapped up the Philly series on Wednesday, and they won that as well, 2-1. So our record to start the season is 4-2, so not too bad. So it had some pretty exciting games, lots more offense, a lot more stealing,
yes,
a lot more stolen bases than last year. Gleyber Torres, I think, is tied for the league.
Leading the league.
Yeah. So that's, and I think I read that he has half the number of stolen bases he had as total last year already. Mm-hmm. So clearly a mentality shift, probably due to the new rules, I'm sure. Gotta be.
Well, real quick
pretty exciting.
With the new rules, Passan put out another thing of stats with the updates. Now this is kind of dated even as of now. This was 50 games into the season. Games are down, looks like 22 or more than that.
It was almost 31, half an hour, right?
31 minutes. Games are down by 31 minutes. I was going to say 21, and then I realized, again, good, as Cliff said last week, good yeah. Florida educator right here. Speaking of, all my athletes found our podcast.
Oh no! Are they giving you a hard time yet, or?
They were giving me a hard time, but I was like, I appreciate the views. Keep them coming.
Keep it coming. Yeah.
Well, I know our subscribers haven't gone up, so.
Oh yeah. You're telling me
that they need to subscribe.
They're gonna have to run a bit more if they don't subscribe.
Yeah, if they don't subscribe, they'll run a little bit more. Yeah, you guys, if you're watching this right now, I know that you're going to be running some extra reps.
That's right.
From a batting side, batting is up by 15%. On base percentage, 15% as well. And slugging percentage is up by 18%. Stolen bases are up by 16%. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, there were no pitch clock violations last year, as it shows here. But we started spring training, the first week of spring training, with a little over 2 violations a game. Okay. It is now under 1.
Yeah, it's not bad. Yeah.
So people are starting to adjust, and there's more offense in less time. And I think I have heard some people complain that when they're at the game, it feels like there's not enough time while you're getting there. Like someone said that I think it was Morty from Yankee Twitter. He said that, he drives 4 hours to get to the game. He kind of wishes he had that extra half hour while he was there just to be in the atmosphere.
Sure.
But
that's fair.
I think people will start to adjust again. I mean, the game used to be 2.5 hours long to 2 hours and 45 minutes long. So I think people will just readjust. I think we're just used to going to games and then being there for 3 hours. I think people will adjust to that.
I mean, there is certainly something to be said that, you love baseball, so you don't mind it being that long. But I think overall it's better.
I think when you're at the game, you feel like you want to be there. You want to be at the stadium longer. But when you're watching it on TV,
I mean, honestly,
I know I lose my I love baseball, so it doesn't lose my attention span completely. But there are times when you're waiting a minute and a half for a pitch, and you just feel like, I can go do something, like I can go look away from it, and then all of a sudden the pitches happen and you didn't even notice
you missed
now,
what's going on. Yeah.
Now that it's every 20
seconds
viewing, and less, that better. You kind of know when the pitch is coming, when the pacing is going to happen. So I like it better on TV.
Yeah.
And I like more action.
Yeah. So even when it was like 3 hours, 3.5 hour games, I was always like, oh, it's over already. Like when you're there, I think that's just part of being there and being immersed in what's going on and having fun. And, it's just different when you're home. So for the viewers at home, which unfortunately down in Florida, that's the vast majority of how we watch the Yankees. It's a bit better. So,
well, let's get into the Yankees recaps. I know you wanted to.
Well, real quick, we can go through. So, we already recapped Cole's awesome start to the home opener, and then
he just had another awesome game to close out.
Yeah, just yesterday.
Game set.
So he's pitched 19 strikeouts. 19 already.
Strikeouts, one earned run, and
which is off a pitch violation.
Right.
Pitch clock violation, I mean. And then Johnny Lasagna is the one that really is like responsible for that run. Not, you know what I mean? He was pitching when the run was scored.
When the run was scored. Yeah,
credited to Cole, but that's his only run of the season, so that's our ace, and he's love that he's doing ace stuff in April, and can shut up all the
long
narratives.
Way to go. Over 30 more games left for him, but it's a great start to the season. Again, we talked about it last week that everybody calls him the Spider Tack
overrated. It's like I don't know in what world Garrett Cole became overrated. But he's my.
And I will say that when he signed with the Yankees, he hasn't had the same seasons he had with the Astros, but he's been our ace, and he's proven this year that he's one of the best pitchers, if not the best pitcher in the league. So
so I'm excited for the rest of the year with him. And
speaking of Lasagna, Loizaga, he had a solid beginning. I think it was better in the first game he played in. I think we saw some good a good outing from him in the first one. The second one, not as good. But it's good to see him back and pitching well. I know he's had injury, and when he was injured, he was struggling a little bit. People were kind of starting to down him. But the dude has a fast. He throws the ball with such velocity. You like seeing that velocity is back up, and that he's out. He's out there pitching.
Yeah, and it's good to see how. I mean, it's a little concerning how long he's been out there. I don't want them to overuse him early, but it's nice to see him out there. I think he's pitched 3 innings in the last couple of days or so. Total.
3 innings, I think, in 2 outings.
Yeah, which I mean I know is not a whole lot, but maybe
there's just a lot
part
in
of
those 6 games.
Yeah. So it's like
just seemed that way.
Nobody get hurt, please. Nobody else. I guess that's where my head's at right now. Because
speaking of the cringy, please don't be hurt. King, he did not look good yesterday. Not his best. I mean, I wouldn't say he was terrible. He just did not look great.
Yeah, and then his velocity still not up. His velocity
was way down.
Yeah,
and Boone says that he might be having a dead arm.
Yeah, so that's concerning.
So
I know a lot of
concerning.
I was reading a little bit about it, and it's like there's really no consensus, but some of it's sometimes it just kind of happens and it'll just go away, and other times it might be something else. So let's hope for the most first. Minor aspect of that. Yeah.
Holmes looked better in his second start or second closed than his first. He was all over the place in that first one. I think we got lucky with him getting out without giving up a ton of runs. But yesterday, I think he struck out the side, didn't he?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's right. I was just trying to look at my notes. But yeah, I think he struck out the side in his outing there. And I think in the outing, he's had 3 outings now, right? Like I think
3
the one
outings.
I think so. Because it was like the first one was like, oh, what's happened to Holmes? And then the second one was like, okay, that's a little bit better.
Yeah, you're right. Because the first one, it was really bad, and everybody immediately on Yankee Twitter was like, get rid of him. Marianacho needs to be the closing pitcher. I think I even said and I did clarify that it was an overreaction take.
Sure.
That Marianacho by the end of the season might be the closer. And it is an overreaction. That's why I said it was an overreaction. I'm sure that there's a lot of games for Holmes to find his groove and to
and
hold
the Yankees,
on to that
I think
closer
Boone
role.
has technically said too that they don't have a set closer, even though we know Holmes is the typical go-to.
It's his inning, yeah.
Yeah, but unless the matchup isn't quite right, probably. But yeah. So, but his second one, I think he did a little bit better. His third one, he's definitely lights out. So it was good to see lights out Holmes in his third outing to close the game. That was just yesterday, right? So
yes.
He closed the game yesterday. So we're all over the place here, like little.
And I think that was that his technically his first save, because his other 2 I don't think were save opportunities, were they?
I think you might be right about that. So I can check.
Well, while you check, the big buzz yesterday was all about. No, sorry, not yesterday. Tuesday was all about the IKF Hicks JD lineup. Obviously, if you watch Talking Yanks, everybody kind of heard the lineup through John Boy and John Boy, Jake, and Aaron Boone. Through their conversation, they kind of guessed the lineup while they were on live with Boone. So
this is
we heard it first, and then I think a couple hours later, the Yankees confirmed that that was the lineup. And of course, all of Yankee Twitter went from great vibes and having a good old time to calling for Boone and Cashman's head on pikes.
Oh yeah.
We've talked about this earlier, but I think I've tweeted about it. Like, I was not happy to see Hicks in the lineup. Obviously, I want to see Cabrera out there as many games as possible and playing as many games as possible. I think yesterday he had a solid game out there. I don't have his stats written down, but I remember he did something for me to tweet out. This is why he should never sit. That's right. He had a double.
He had that play, the hit that Turner couldn't quite get, and if he hadn't busted his ass out of the box, he wouldn't have gotten a double. And
he went out quick.
Yeah, and so and then Turner had a great play to slide, and he's king of smooth.
Was that where that play was from?
Yes, that's what
I was going to talk about. Actually, that was on the bottom of my notes. The Turner
that's
slide
where
bubblegum
he
play.
Catches it on one hop and blows the bubble gum as he's doing it, turns around and
Trey
fires
Turner's
got
to be the smoothest dude in all baseball.
Yeah, but Waldo was just fast enough. He got a double.
Yeah, just fast enough. So obviously we want to see that in the lineup. But at the end of the day, I get that we don't like Hicks. I don't necessarily like all the boos, but we talked Hicks kind of brought this on himself. I don't think if he didn't say a thing before this second start, I don't think there would have been as much hostility.
Yeah,
maybe that's just me being hopeful on the Yankee fan side. But when you come out the day before starting and you whine about not getting a role, not having
I don't know
a
what
role.
my role is, and I don't want to only be getting at bats against closers.
Yeah,
boo-hoo.
It's just very boo-hoo, very not understanding what you put yourself in this position. you really think you should be starting over Cabrera? Cabrera had 4 home runs over the time of spring training. Now, obviously, like some people just hit a lot of home runs in spring training and then don't do anything in the season. Higgy last year. But it wasn't just the home runs. I mean, Cabrera had, I think, the second best OPS on the team outside of Judge, I think.
Right. Yeah. He did very well in spring. Yeah,
he did very well in spring training.
So
he obviously
to
earned
see
that
someone
spot.
like that, you've rewarded Volpe, rightly so.
And you're a veteran at this point.
The starting shortstop job, we are allowing him to get consistent consecutive days of work, and you're not giving that same opportunity to Waldo.
To Cabrera,
yeah.
And for Hicks to complain about not playing in the first 2 games when you know you didn't earn it. You're a veteran and you know you didn't earn it. You had one really good hit, and I'll give him credit for that. One really good hit at the last game of spring training. And he had decent at-bats before then, but that one good hit doesn't take away the fact that Cabrera hit a really good double just before you and was hitting all of spring training. So the fact that he was complaining does not help.
The complaint, like,
and
I
then
get
for
the
him
media
to go
goes in
0
your
for
face
4,
and asks you a question, but like figure out a better way to answer.
But then he goes what, 0 for
coming.
3 in the first game on Tuesday.
Yeah, he had a walk. That was his best game.
That was his best. And it was like, I think Yankee Twitter was like, okay, you got your start out of the way. Now get back to Oswaldo.
I knew he was starting. I think Boone even said he was starting 2 games. Like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was obvious that it was going to happen, and I was not upset about it. I don't like that, again, that Cabrera didn't play, but I was not upset about it because it was a Phillies bullpen day, and I'd much rather
Waldo against Nola.
Yeah. So if you were going to give Nola only 1 day against the Phillies, I would have preferred it to be against Nola.
Yeah, it was like if you're going to play Hicks for 2 of the 3 games of that series, then I prefer that you play it for that second game. But that second game
then he went 0 for 4. He struck out. He struck out in the second game of the series.
Yeah.
Was the one against the it was the really bad game.
Yeah, it was just bad vibes game.
Yeah, bad vibes all the way around. Now the loss doesn't go entirely on Hicks.
Oh, I'm not blaming Hicks for the loss.
But,
no, I'm not blaming Hicks for the loss. But it was just a.
But you can tell the lineup was just not the same as it was in the previous days, and maybe it was because those guys were starting and not some of those younger guys, but.
Take the excitement out of the lineup.
Sometimes the Yankees also just go into weird slumps where they just don't hit anything. Like sometimes they look really good, like they did on Monday, like where they look like the best team in the league, and then you get into Tuesday with the Yankees where they can't hit anything. It's just kind of been the way the Yankees play. But Hicks goes 0 for 4 in that game. I think he struck out like where he swung out of his shoes, and he mopes his way back into the dugout. Now, big on Judge for coming over, patting his back, talking with him a little bit, but then they
also
go back
blocking
to him,
the camera.
and he's sitting at the end of a little bit of blocking the camera, but then he goes down and sits at the end of the dugout and just kind of head down. Now, again,
maybe Hicks, it could be in his thoughts. I don't know.
Yeah, he could be thinking, it's not fair to look at every moment and overanalyze every moment there. I know if I struck out and everybody was booing me and my job might be on the line, I'd probably be sulking too. But it just doesn't help your cause if you're trying to be we've said it time and time again. Other people have said it time and time again. When Giancarlo Stanton sucks, he gets onto the mic and says, "I sucked." He did it this season.
He said, what was the second
game of the season?
When he grounded out into a double play to end the game. Yeah.
And he's like, you know what? I need to be better. When people are on base, I need to be better.
And he said, not only did I suck in that at-bat, there was an at-bat earlier where I dropped an opportunity for us to score more runs. So he even put, they didn't even ask him about that.
They didn't ask him about that one. He added on to himself. Yeah. And then he came out the next day and hit a 485-foot home ron.
Yeah.
So, Yankee fans, I think, are very willing to...
Wasn't the next day. I was just looking. It was 2 days later.
It wasn't. 2 days
Yeah.
later.
Yeah.
Either way, I just know that he
Oh no, you're right.
was
My bad.
impact.
You're right.
It was
I'm
the next
sorry.
day. I thought
It was the next day. You're right. I'm sorry. I put a paragraph between my game for no reason at all, and it threw me off.
No worries. But yeah, so he hits a bomb the next day and helps us get that win the day after.
Oh my God,
I think it was the last game
awesome
of
moment.
the first series.
Yeah, Brito
against
pitched
San
that game.
Francisco.
That was the Brito.
That was the Brito game. Yes,
Yeah,
Brito was really good.
Shut out for not how many innings? 6 innings pitched.
6 innings, and I think he had 6 strikeouts.
Yeah, and his
Katie Sharp said that he had one of the most historic debuts had a very historic debut. Apparently, Katie Sharp is a Brito fan.
Nice.
A Brito stan, I guess.
Okay, all right.
Like she was talking on John Boy that how much she loved his start. She was talking about his whiff rates.
I was just gonna say, isn't his whiff rate like from that game
very
30,
high,
35%, something like that. Like it was it was high.
Like,
I was damn.
He was really good, and I know a lot of people were bummed and confused why Boone sent him down. So he won't be available for what would have been his next start, but what would be his third start, he should be available to be brought back up.
And that's because they didn't need a fifth starter this go.
Yeah, they didn't really need a fifth starter right now. Obviously, we don't like what we saw from Clark or Herman.
Herman wasn't so bad. I think he was.
He had one really bad pitch, and the Yankees weren't hitting. And so that
so that combination just has a bad because I feel like he did get how many? He got a few strikeouts.
He got a few strikeouts, and early on, he really only had 2 bad pitches.
Yeah,
that went for home runs. I think those were the only 2 hits initially.
Yeah,
but I think it was by the 5th inning, you could tell that he just was not there. Like he gave up another 2 runs. But
that was Volpe had a couple errors that game, or at least one error. He a couple misplays, right? And so he's still adjusting and stuff. So that was kind of
Clark, I really think that he is a long reliever. And that's about the best that he can be. Because after 3 innings, he just sucks. He was good in the first 3 innings, the game that he pitched in, and after the 3rd inning, everything went downhill. Just was not there. I really think that that he is going to be a long reliever in the future, and especially with what Boone was saying. I think when Sevy and Rodon return, hopefully by the end of this month, that it will be Brito as the long-term 5th starter. Obviously, Herman is going to be in there, but I really don't think it should be Clark Schmidt. I think I get if they go with Herman just because of veteran experience, and Brito has the options to go down. From a business side, it just seems obvious that that's what the Yankees are going to do, because they're not going to just DFA Herman.
No.
No,
I mean, because Herman has a larger ceiling than what we saw too. So
so that kind of sums up a lot of the pitching for this week. I was really, like I said, we're really impressed with Brito. And
forgot about Nestor.
Sorry.
Nestor pitched.
Oh, Nestor, yes. Nestor had a really good game.
Nestor had a good game. He got hit around a little bit, but he came out. He
had a really good game for having a bad game. I guess the way
that's a good way to put it. Yeah, he got hit more than I would have wanted to see him get hit, but he got out of those. And
I guess that's what I mean.
And he had the offensive help or support. And
yes.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see him not have his best stuff and still be a really good pitcher.
Yeah.
And that's what you expect from a really good pitcher.
Yeah, 3 Ks, no walks, but I guess only one earned run. I thought he had, for some reason, I thought that that was the 8-1 game. For some reason, I thought.
Yes, that was the 8-1 game. We had a lot of run support, but he just looked really good at controlling the game, even when he gave up the hits or the walks.
Or even
he
when
didn't give up any walks, but
even when there's an airmailed ball heading toward home.
Yeah. Cordeo has 2 assists, and both of them, especially the Nestor one, they saved him so much.
I was watching that. I was like, oh no, and then Nestor just
it, all of a sudden it's an out, and I was
right where he should be, right? Like the pitcher should be back there backing it up, but it was
just like, what just happened? Like it was so quick. Like it was so quick. Nestor on his toes, thinking there.
That was Marsh at third, right? He didn't. That was
Marsh.
The game.
Yeah, I don't think Marsh even knew really what happened.
No, I don't think he did, and I think he had a little bad game, but he made up for it the next day. But I thought that was a little funny at the time. I was like, oh, that Marsh got out, and the misplay in the beginning. I guess I should say that, since Cliff doesn't know that probably that Marsh missed a right off the bat, right? DJ's first at bat. Did you see it? I don't even know if you were here, Cliff. DJ got a triple. He doesn't care. I
didn't see that.
But yeah, the center fielder completely misplayed the ball, and it shouldn't have been a triple, but it was.
Yeah.
Was that the night the internet went out?
No. Wasn't that night. I don't remember what night it was. It was when Mister pitched. I think that was Monday, right? I think
so. Yeah, it was Monday. That was the 8-1 game against the Phillies. So yeah, that was Monday.
Did my eyes just glass over?
Maybe. It was very beginning. It was very the Yankees' first at bat, so wasn't too far in it.
Was I in the kitchen? Did you?
Did I relegate you?
Did you send me to the kitchen? And
maybe. Anyway.
Going back to that bad game with IKFJD and Hicks playing, I was looking it up because they've all had bad starts to the season. The 3 of them are a combined .061 batting average and .114 on base percentage.
Now the batting average is all Donaldson's home run.
Yeah, it's Donaldson's home run, and I think he's got a single.
Oh, you're right. I think he did have a single. Season. Yeah, I think you're right. Yep.
And the on base percentage is him plus what's his? I think he has a walk. JD has a walk, and Hicks has a walk. So, So .061 batting average, .114 on base percentage. So, going back to that game, the bullpen day for the Phillies. That is something that is frustrating, especially when when the 3 of them are back to back to back, because essentially there is no necessarily guaranteed out, when it comes to Major League Baseball hitters, but that's as close as you're going to get, that is essentially.
Yeah, having those 3 in the lineup
JD,
is tough,
Hicks,
man.
and IKF. If I'm a pitcher,
you're
and I see that, and I know that they have a 6% chance of those 3 getting on base.
Oh yeah,
and not all 3 of them getting on base. Just one of those 3 guys getting on base has a 6% chance. I am going to be coming in with all the confidence in the world.
Yeah. So, 061, right? Yeah, that's so bad.
061, 6% chance of those 3. One of those 3 getting on base. So not great with those 3. We talked at the beginning before the season started that those are the 3 Haiti Yankees, and they are not.
Yeah, I was hopeful that JD's tweaks to his stance was going to be helpful, but we've only. We've only seen 1 home run. That's not really the problem, but he hasn't hit.
And he also hit that home run when we were already winning, or was it the game we were losing? It was a non-consequential home run is all I remember. It was oh, good. It was either in the second game where we were losing already. It was oh, great.
Yeah, we're already losing. That's not really helpful.
Who cares?
Or
great job. Or it was in the game where we're already up, and it was it was not helpful.
Yeah,
not to say that we don't like the home runs, but it was just he strikes out. He struck out in one of the games with 2 people on base, and it was I think the game ended with him up at bat, and he grounded out or struck out, and it was Oh no, pop up to left. It was a pop up to left
Oh,
against the Phillies in
yeah.
the second game. He was up. We were kind of doing a little bit of a rally at the end of the game, and he popped up to left field. He didn't pimp the fly out to left field this time, so maybe we're getting a little better there. But
Congratulations.
yeah,
Yeah.
he had an opportunity to tie the game, and he popped one up to left field. So. It's not much going on with JD. Now he is injured. We haven't heard an update as of now on Thursday night.
They made
but,
it sound like it wasn't that big of a deal. But I mean, when I watched him,
that's such a good news to hear.
Right? I saw somebody with I was like SpongeBob meme or something. It's like, take your time.
Oh yeah, I was saying that to Laura Grace on Tuesday night. I was like, if you need to rest that hamstring, man, for the rest of the season, please take your time, man.
Man,
do what you need to do.
Dude's over 35 years old. You got to watch out for those.
Yeah, you got
for all your
look
parts.
out for yourself, man. If you need
hamstrings,
if you need to take the season, take as much time as you need.
Whatever. Yeah.
But
it'll be interesting to see. I mean, he's going to be out for at least a few days. I mean, even if he is mostly okay, Boone's
dang it.
Let him sit, right? But how are we going to fill that hole? So, do you think IKF fills that hole for now, or
Tell us how you
probably?
Really feel,
but it should be DJ starting.
Yeah,
most of those games.
Most of those games, and then IKF gives DJ the rest, right?
Yeah.
That makes more sense, obviously. Yeah.
Real quick, on that too with Hicks, Cordell. We were so confused at Franchi. Is that it? Say Franchi?
I have no idea how to say his first name, so I avoid it. It's Cordero.
We talked about his two assists that he totally did all on his own. Did not get any athletic help from Nestor
Volpe's tag.
Volpe's tag was amazing. That was beautiful. I will say Cordero, that assist was a bit on, he did it a lot there. He threw the ball in on time, just lightly inaccurate.
Yeah.
But
nice stretch by Volpe to make that tag, and that was good. Real quick, Josh Donaldson's home run was on the April 1st game, which was the loss to the Giants. And he hit a home run when we were down, so that's how it was made 7-5, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, that obviously gets us a little bit closer, but it still at the time just felt really all
right. It only matters if it matters.
If anything, if only mattered if it mattered.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you want to hit a home run while we're down, but it's that.
Right. I'm not mad that, and I'm also not mad that he's only hit one home run. But come on, we need more production out of you, out of the five hole hitters, which is what they want you to be. You need to hit the ball more.
Yeah.
We need more.
And he had opportunities in that game when people were on base, and he struck out or flew out. So that's why I remember the reason why. It's great, you hit a home run. I think that's what I was pissed about. He hit a home run when nobody was on base and we were down by 3. When we were down by 2 earlier in the game, and he got out when there was people on base. So that's what I remember. That's what I was upset. I remember the home run pissed me off. It was
that was also the bad ump game. Right, or at least one. That's true. I can't remember, but that one was
the first game with Laz was bad. But the second one was not good either.
Yeah, I think that one was a few bad calls, and so he got rung up a couple of times, and it was probably closer than he thought it was.
But going back to Cordero, he's looking better than Hicks.
Oh, right now I'd much prefer Cordero in the lineup. Yeah, absolutely.
That's not hard, but. The reason I say this is because Bader is going to be back soon. I think he's going to be one of the first back of the injured.
Yeah, he seemed pretty. Yeah, he took dry swings the other day, and
I saw a video of him and he was jumping around. Oh, wasn't it the video of the Cortez imitation?
Oh, that's right.
He was one of them doing it, and I was like, man, your oblique looks good there.
You're fine.
So I do think that from everything that I'm hearing, that Bader is going to be one of the first back. And we know that there's a spot that's going to be one of the outfielders are going to be removed. Obviously, that's not going to be Judge or Cabrera or Stanton. So it's either Hicks or Cordero, and I think when he was initially signed, we were all like, "This is a
What
stupid
is
signing."
Yeah.
I think we all thought that he was trade bait to begin.
Yeah, I did. I definitely did. I mean, who
Um,
knows? Maybe he still is, but
Yeah.
for now,
And
no.
obviously Florial, I mean, as of right now, Florial is still on the team in the DFA.
Yeah. Right.
So they are still looking to trade him before he's completely off the team. I think they have 7 days to trade or pass him through waivers. And I apologize, I don't fully understand how the pass-through waivers while on DFA works, but I do know that they have 7 days, and if nothing happens in those 7 days, he's just a free agent.
Gotcha.
So anyway, I think we assumed that Cordero was going to be in a package deal with Florial, but he's had 2 impactful hits, at least 2 hits I know that are impactful. He had an RBI double in one of the games. He has those 2 assists. Again, might be a little bit of an asterisk on those 2 assists, but he's better than Hicks right now, and maybe fully.
I mean, I'll take whoever's actually producing.
I don't want to put I don't want to get my hopes up, because I do imagine that the Yankees want Hicks to work. And when you're giving him $30 million over 3 years,
he's got left. Yeah.
Like if I spent $300, $3,000 or something, $3,000 is a lot of money for me, but if I spent a lot of money on something and it wasn't working, I wouldn't just throw it away.
Yeah, you'd want to get your value back for.
You want to get
or something. So it's understandable that the front office hasn't DFA'd him, even though we would love if
it happened.
Totally on board with DFAing him wherever. But
the moon, Mars.
Who cares? Just DFA him off my team. I'm fully on board with that, but I understand why the front office
hard time believing it's going to happen. But when Bader comes back, the way I look at it is, what is he going to do? What is he going to do for us? Because at that point, he is on the bottom of the barrel.
Pinch hit him yesterday.
For someone he didn't pinch hit yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah, there was an opportunity. For Trevino or somebody. There was an opportunity for Hicks to go in to be pinch hit to pinch hit, and they didn't do it. So why is he there?
And in the game we lost, Rizzo, I don't know if you noticed, Rizzo was in or you may not have, because you weren't able to watch that game. I
wasn't able to watch that game, yeah.
Because of MLB TV. Mm-hmm. Rizzo was actually, they didn't say it because JD was the last one to get out, but Rizzo was going to be pinch hit for Yeah, it was
the game he rested, right? Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was, while we were watching the game, he was at the bottom step. Ready to go in. So he was going to be the next one in to hit for
They don't want
Hicks. Because they don't want Hicks.
Yeah, because the game was 4-1. That was DJ hit the home run in the.
Yeah, and now on that side too, just if we're playing devil's advocate when it comes to Boone's thinking, I don't know who was on the mound, if it was a lefty or a righty, but obviously we know that Rizzo is a lefty, and I'm pretty sure he actually is one of those opposite type of players that actually hits better on his side. So he hits better against other lefties than he does against righties. I'm pretty sure, I might be wrong there, but I'm pretty sure he hits better against lefties than he does on righties.
Okay.
And I believe it's the right side that Hicks is not as good on, so maybe if it was a lefty up, pitching for the Phillies at the end of that game, maybe that's what the thinking was. I don't want to say that, I could be wrong, but righty might have been on the mound, and in that case,
I don't know.
There would have been no difference other than the fact that Hicks is terrible.
I feel like it just says a lot that he was going to be pinch hit for in the bad game, and then he wasn't
pinch hit for at any point during last night's game.
Yeah. He didn't go in as a pinch hitter.
And IKF was the first one to start outside of the main three in the outfield.
Yeah.
IKF was chosen over Hicks.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what Hicks was pissed off about, but you haven't earned it. And in my opinion, even though IKF hasn't earned much either in the way of his playing ability,
but he's at least earned it with his attitude. I think all Yankee fans would do well to appreciate somebody who says, you know what, you're right, I've lost this position. I am not the shortstop. I asked for help, by the way, but I'm not the shortstop. I will play wherever you want. Want me to play the outfield? Sounds good to me. And he's doing a decent job there.
And I saw somebody said, well, you really think he asked to be in the outfield? He was told to be in the outfield. And either way, even if that was the case, he did it willingly. And he said, and then in another interview, he was like, you need me to play, like, if they need to play catcher, I'll put my catcher's
gear on. I used to do that. Let's do that. Like, he wants to be on this team, and he wants to help this team win. And I'd rather have that attitude than the mope.
He has not yet said
doesn't want to hit against closers.
Things are rough in New York, and I can help any team win. Then give him his wish. Because in my opinion, once Bader gets back, there is no role for him. Frankie, whatever his name, Cordero.
Franchi. I have no idea. I was just throwing it out there.
He is better than Hicks right now. And I keep saying right now because, I wanted,
Well, who knows? Baseball's baseball.
Might, but if we're looking at a role of someone who's going to be your last option in the outfield, I'd rather it be somebody who is glad to be up on a major league roster like Cordero versus Hicks, who's going to bitch about it the entire time.
Yeah.
Like, if that's how it's going to be, once Bader gets back, DFA him, trade him, do whatever you need to do, but he should not be on this team. If he doesn't want to be here, he shouldn't be on the team. That's why I like IKF in this sense, because he wants to be a Yankee, and I think someone who wants to be a Yankee, eventually things are going to work out. He hasn't gotten a hit yet, but we know he's a contact guy. It's going to come.
Yeah.
And I think Hicks would be given more forgiveness if he was like, you know what, I suck. I'll do whatever I have to do. If I have to be the guy coming off the bench, I will do whatever I can to help this team win.
Yeah. The Carpenter quote, like, if I have to carry the bags onto the airplane or whatever.
Yankee fans like that stuff.
They eat that up.
Yeah.
I do.
So, I think that Hicks does it to himself, and I know there's some fans, and sometimes I agree with it, we boo too soon.
I think 4 or 5 games into the season, booing Hicks is a little much, but you can't say much about it. He's brought it onto himself.
Yeah, it's come he should have just had these 2 games without him saying anything.
Yeah.
You know. Real quick, just to wrap this up, Marinaccio, we talked about before, he was outstanding. Hamilton was brought up for Brito to be that extra arm. His new pitch, the Slambio. Okay. Did you know that is it Cambio? I think it's Cambio. That is what they call a changeup in major league clubs. They don't, pitching staffs don't call it a changeup.
I had no idea.
That's something I learned today, because he said it's a combination of the slider and changeup, and I was like, well, where the fuck does Cambio come from?
Well, yeah, I had no idea.
Ambio come from, and he said that he slated later on. He was like, John Boy even said, he's like, I never realized this, but until I started, spending more times around ball clubs, they don't call it a changeup. They call it the Latino version of that word.
Oh,
okay. And it sounds a lot cooler. So yeah, the Slambio looked really well. So, those are just some quick wrap-ups with the MLB or with the Yankees.
Yeah, I did look at leaderboards, and it's a little too early. 5 games into the season, leaderboards change so frequently that. But Gleyber leads in as of today.
Stolen bases,
6th, every category.
Wow. Yeah, and he's off to a hot start. He credits
every category but strikeouts.
That's a good one. He's
everyone that I wrote down, we'll say. I'm sorry.
Hot start from him.
Yeah, hot start from Gleyber.
He credits the World Baseball Classic. Did you see that? Which is very ironic considering that
a
lot of people were.
The
narrative is that they shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah.
And guess, this is something that, and I'm glad we got on to Torres because I forgot to mention it.
We did
We've been
like
talking,
slightly in
and
the
I think a
beginning,
lot of fans don't realize this. I didn't realize it. I think until Bobby Malone on Twitter said it. There's still one more year of arbitration left on his contract.
Yeah,
I didn't realize it because, and I think it's because he said, I really wish the Yankees would extend me.
Yeah.
And so that just in my head, I was like, oh, well, his contract must be up. But this is not a contract year for him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, no,
anyway,
it's really
I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah, really quick. His stats are for his batting average is 421. His OPS is 1.349. 6 RBIs. The rest of the next Judge, Stanton, Rizzo all have 4. Runs scored 5 by Glaber, 5 by Judge. Stolen bases.
He's been
5.
hitting everywhere on the lineup. He's been doing a lot, like putting.
His production is great.
Beginning of the season,
production.
He is a very streaky hitter, though. Like we'll just put that into as a footnote for right now.
He's feeling confident and happy and high on life. He is an amazing baseball player. So I hope he stays happy and high on life. Yes. Did you see the video of him like hugging and dancing around with like Trevino in the dugout?
Not, but it sounds
it was adorable.
Great Torres vibes.
Yes, absolutely. You should check that out.
So
it is adorable.
That is a good thing to hear is that he does have 1 year of arbitration. Now, that does not mean that they won't extend him for further if he proves himself.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully,
I think they hopefully he does.
Extend Torres. I mean, keep him. He loves being a Yankee. Keep Torres. He's great. Anyway,
and I think he continues to prove a lot of people wrong. Everybody was saying trade Torres, trade Torres.
I was so upset by that.
And now everybody's like, Torres is amazing. Why did who would ever doubt him? Like, well, you guys did. So
I know, right? Like, where are the receipts? Damn it! No.
All right, so let's go into the rest of.
Little updates from
the league,
or things we saw around the league.
Yeah. We kind of already talked about the rule changes, so that's kind of fun. Houston and Phillies, slow start to the season.
Mm-hmm.
Phillies especially, but that's kind of to be expected with the injuries that they have. I know I predicted them to win the division. I am probably going away from that pretty hard. I was wrong on that one. I can admit when I'm wrong. I thought that they would look pretty good, and who knows? I mean, the Phillies. It is only 6 games in.
Yeah, you never know.
There's a lot to change. Harper is actually scheduled to be back sooner than expected. He was taking BP, he was hitting balls 400 feet in BP against the Yankees the other day. Well, not against the Yankees, but in the game prior.
Taking BP before the game. Yeah.
So, yeah. You have.
Oh, I didn't know if you were done or not. No, I don't. I saw the Machado strikeout on the pitch clock violation. Then he got ejected. Did you see that?
Say it one more time. Sorry.
Machado got. He ended up striking out. He was had 3-2 count, struck out on a pitch clock violation.
Didn't he say he was going to get he was going to get those violations all year?
I think he did, and that's part of me. I don't know. A lot of people were like, he clearly called timeout, but to me it was like, did he clearly call timeout? He looked like he was really taking his time with fixing his gloves, and then he kind of lazily puts up the timeout. I don't know. I couldn't. All the clips I looked at didn't have the clock and his so I couldn't tell. And so maybe he did, and maybe the umps need to give him that timeout. He does get a timeout. I just thought it was interesting that he was ejected. It's his first at bat, and so that really sucks for fans that went to go see Machado. But
hey, real quick, I know this might sound a little off, but our cat's outside and he wants to come in desperately. He's screeching outside. So let me grab him real quick. If you want to give some other thoughts on stuff, I can hear you.
Sure.
This is unprofessional, Ryan.
It's super unprofessional.
Sorry.
I quit. No.
I'll give him some screen time.
Yeah, as long as he gets on the screen, then that's okay.
He's not too happy about it. He was very mad that he was left outside for as long as he was.
Poor kid.
There's Kitty.
Hi. He says, where are my treats? The other thing from earlier this week, Sandy Alcantara, I think that's threw the complete game shutout.
Yes, I did see that.
That was a awesome gem of pitching.
Yeah.
But that game was under 2 hours.
Wow.
I think it was like hour 50 some minutes long. So that I could see. I mean, you're going and you're seeing an amazing, pitching performance by Sandy, but
yeah, under 2 hours is kind of rough. Like if we
that
had
is
traveled
rough. How much
to
money
go
they
see a
spend?
Marlins game, and
oh, I'd be a little
especially
mad.
an overnight
like,
stay,
what?
and
Yeah, like what time
this is
it?
over already.
Hang on. The only thing I could say about those,
but at
kind
least
of games
you got
is,
a complete game pitching.
yeah, like you saw a really awesome pitching performance, and I don't know, maybe if major league clubs can figure out a way to do something after the game, like stick around longer. And I think I've seen a little bit of this, but and I can't tell if it's before or after the games, but it seems like there's more fan engagement.
Maybe do something more during the 7th inning stretch. I mean,
yeah, players might not like sitting for too long during the 7th inning stretch, but
yeah,
I don't know, just kind of something to appreciate fans that that were there and spent a lot of money to be there, and I don't know, but I thought that was like, ooh, it was like, oh, that's awesome, and then that's
I definitely think
awesome.
that they should bring back more player interaction before and after games back.
Yeah.
I get some of these players have a lot, going on, and they're trying to get their stuff
you've got
done.
Safety too that you have to consider, but
but it would just be nice if you're going to have the game for 2.5 hours while you're at the game to at least give it a little bit of something where they can have more opportunity to
something a little more for the fans that traveled
far,
even
if it's just a quick hey, there's a baseball judge, sign the ball so I can actually keep this one.
Yeah, right. Hey.
But I did see that. It was great performance by him. Yeah, I would not have been happy to be at a game for less than 2 hours after driving for 6 to get to Miami. Funny enough, Dansby, we talked at I think it was the first podcast about how terrible he was doing.
I saw he's picked it up,
great
right?
stats. He's leading the league, I think, in maybe batting average or something. But he's definitely like one of the top hitters for the Cubs to start the season, without a doubt. So, that's one of those things where spring training is spring training. It's it's good if you want it to be good. It doesn't matter if you don't want it to matter.
That's right. They had a bad spring training.
It matters if you want it to. So, and that's one of those cases, Dansby was absolutely terrible.
For him. It turned out not to matter. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, and it could have been one of those situations, too, in spring training where he was focused on certain pitches or focused on
something and, wasn't trying to hit other pitches or, who knows, but good for him that he's actually, a baseball player again, I guess. Producing. The only other note I had was that the Pirates swept the Red Sox. Did you see that?
Yeah, Reynolds was very good.
Yeah, I mean, the Red Sox aren't great, but to the Pirates' credit, they're better than I think anyone
a lot of people thought.
I
did, and I do still think, again, it's early. The Red Sox are not that great, but the Pirates did make a lot of underrated moves. I think getting G-Man Choi,
McCutchen back, good presence.
Yeah, bringing back McCutchen, someone who's a leader, someone who knows the Pirate organization really well, helping a lot of their younger guys. They do have a really young team. O'Neal Cruz is an exciting player.
Oh, he is so exciting. Yeah.
Their third baseman, Cabrian Hayes, is an elite defensive player. But bringing in like a guy like G-Man Choi, they've been struggling at first base. Last year, I don't know if you remember, their first baseman, I don't remember his name, but he's the one who was trying to get Javi Baez in a pickle, running from the batter's box to first, and somebody scored because he wasn't paying attention, and then Javi got to first anyway because he couldn't he
backpedaled on the first base path, right?
Yeah.
Was that one? Yeah.
Yep. So, and maybe it wasn't last year, but I know that they've had issues with that position, and so bringing in a guy like G-Man Choi is really good for them.
Yeah. Also glad that he's not in the AL East anymore. I mean,
Yeah, not with the Rays. Speaking of the Rays, they had a really hot start. They started off undefeated. Did they win today? I hadn't checked. I wrote this undefeated start yesterday when it was after the game, so I didn't check on games today because we didn't play.
Right, and there's no baseball if we're not playing.
Yeah, there's no baseball.
I don't think they. Am I missing
they
it?
didn't play
I don't
either.
think they played today.
They might not have. I mean, they finished off 2 series, so they might be traveling or.
Yeah. Yep.
But they are undefeated to start the season. Now, to be fair, they started off against the Tigers and then played, I think, the Reds. Is it the Reds?
I think so. Is that or Nats?
Nationals.
Yeah.
Yep. They played against the Nationals. So 2 not very good teams. Sorry, Dad, but the Tigers suck.
Yeah.
And the Nationals, like we talked about them, I think with our prediction stuff that the Nationals were going to be bottom of the table. So, I mean,
it would be good to see them play an actual.
That's an asterisk of their undefeated season, but they looked really good. I'm not yet to say that they're the best team in the league. I still think that they've got a lot of they've got a lot of things to solve. They don't have a very deep lineup, a deep roster. But the Rays always figured out. The Rays kind of perfected what Billy Beane worked on with Oakland of being the Moneyball team. They don't pay a lot of people a lot of money, but they give the right people the money, and they work together as a team really well. And they're always up there.
Scrap, They always find a way to scrap on.
So hot start by them. We mentioned Reynolds. Houston also slow start. Not ready also to say that they're, I mean, I saw somebody, I think it was John Boy in Talking Yanks posted at the
if the postseason started today.
Playoffs started today.
I think that, Talking Baseball did.
And then, we finally don't have to play them.
We finally don't have to face them, yay.
It's like, after 6 games, Houston's not there. That's good.
Hey, they've played 7 games. They're 3-4.
Yeah. So they won today, I'm guessing, because they were 2-4 yesterday. But they don't have Altuve. Altuve's not out for long. I do think that they have a weak pitching staff. I said that last week. The way I look at their pitching staff, it's not terrible, but it's not great. I think the Yankees, when we're fully healthy, we have 2 aces and 2 number 2 guys and a true 5. On the roster. So we've got, we've got Rodon and Cole who are aces, and Sevy and Nestor who can be a 2 on pretty much any team, and then Brito or Herman who are a true fifth day starter. So a very good roster there. The way I look at the Astros pitching rotation, essentially they've got a bunch of 3s, and maybe a Fromby is a 2 or a 1 on most teams. But for the most part, they have a bunch of decent starters. Now, for Houston, with that lineup, when it's fully healthy and on all cylinders, I mean, you only need a bunch of 3s to be really good. So I don't think it's anything for, as much as I wish I could say Houston's run is over. If you're a Houston fan and you're for some reason watching a Yankee podcast, your season's not over. And if you're if any Yankee fans are watching us, don't get your hopes up too much. I'm glad that they're not in the postseason right now, but let's see how good they are when we play them, because the Yankees tend to tuck our tails between our legs whenever we play them.
Let's hope that changes.
Let's hope that changes. Maybe the young guys will give us a little bit more of an attitude adjustment when we get there. Maybe having a new captain on our team will help. Not a new captain, but a correctly named captain, I should say.
He's
rightfully
been the
named captain.
But crowned.
A Houston slow start, but I think they'll be back. Boston does not look good, which that I can probably say that they are pretty confident they're going to stay at the bottom. Hopefully that isn't a knock on wood, jinxing situation. But Chris Sale is back, and he's already got like 7 something ridiculous. Hold on, I have it.
Yeah,
here.
I don't know. His outing was not the best.
16.2 ERA in 5 innings.
Oof.
So
Oof.
not good.
Nope. Not what you want.
Not what you want, as Joe Girardi would say. So,
Yep.
what you do want if you're a Yankees fan. So,
Yeah. Well, we don't mind seeing it.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. And I think with the Red Sox, they you can tell that they're rebuilding, and they're planning to rebuild around Devers. Obviously, he re-signed with them. They finally got one correct where they actually re-signed one of their players. I still can't believe that this team won the World Series in 2018. And when you look at that lineup, I think maybe was Devers there in 2018? I'm not a Red Sox fan, so obviously I don't remember. But
yeah, I don't remember. I think
he was at least within the organization.
Yeah.
At the time, so he's really one of the only ones left. Chris Sale was there, but he's nowhere near the same person. But I can't believe they got rid of that outfield that they had, Benintendi, Betts for nothing. They got Jeter Downs, and he hasn't done much. His namesake did not.
Could you imagine if that's what the Yankees front office did
with Judge?
Yeah, like we have that outfield, and the Yankees
the closest, but
No, right, but like, or we have Mookie Betts in the
same outfield,
and they did that. Could you imagine?
Yeah, Yankee fans would be torching the place down.
Oh yeah, I mean, and rightfully so. Like,
rightfully so. Yeah, I mean, Red Sox fans are pissed. To be fair, Red Sox fans are pissed. You see that they're not happy with the way the organization's
the
run.
last several years have been a lot of
Shame
questionable.
So when a lot of people get mad at Cashman and are yelling at Cashman and saying he sucks and he's the worst GM in the league,
it's like well,
he's at worst he's second worst in the league because Shane Bloom is in Boston. So I mean that's a lot of what's going around the league. I know I've got some power rankings that I'd like to share, but I think real quick.
I just want to comment on our pitching. What you brought up earlier and comparing it to how other people are starting. Like our pitching is like almost in shambles, or at least that's what we thought towards the end of spring training, right? It's in shambles. Oh my God, what are we going to do?
We only have
everything over Twitter. How are we going to make it through April? Yeah. And to be honest, it felt pretty gloomy there. But I think our pitching staff has absolutely picked it up. And, we're 4-2 on the season with a struggling 5-man rotation, or at least what it should have been at its healthiest. So I think that's really encouraging, and it can hopefully only get better as long as everybody else stays healthy. Please, everybody stay healthy.
Yes.
All right, go on to your power rankings.
Yeah, my power rankings. So I got number 1 is the Atlanta Braves. They look good. I mean, Ozzy, I think, had a ridiculous home run. Like, really, like one of those long home runs, not as long as Carlos Stanton, but I saw all the Braves fans on Twitter were really excited for it. He's been playing really good in the outfield.
Yeah.
So the Braves are looking really good. I think Olsen's had a really good start to the season, which is different from what they saw last year. With Olsen. So the Braves just look really good. They look like serious World Series threats. Again, I mean, a lot of this is, I'm going to be saying it a lot, it's only 7 games in. But if you're a Atlanta Braves fan, you got to be feeling good about your team. Their GM has got to be in one of the top 5.
Yeah,
they're really good at signing their young guys to long deals. They avoid arbitration with most of them and keep them around, and those players seem to love to be there. The fans love being there. We were at an Atlanta game, and they have a really good fan
fun
base.
Atmosphere. Absolutely.
So watch out for them. Los Angeles Dodgers, everybody was ready to write them off as an old aging team, and so far they don't look like it. I don't know what Kershaw's numbers are, but they're not bad for being in his final years. It's not his last year, but it's his final years.
Yeah.
Cabrera is in Miguel Cabrera, not Melky. Miguel Cabrera is in his final year. I know Detroit's not anywhere on this list. They're probably 30th if I went all the way
Right.
down.
Yeah.
But he's been getting some pretty cool gifts. They invited him out to be with the other legends of Detroit, Calvin Johnson, someone with the Pistons. And I apologize, Dad, if you saw the game and you're like, how do you not know him? Or if any other Detroit fans are like, how do you not know who the Pistons guy was? And then I definitely didn't know the hockey guy. But those three guys invited Miguel Cabrera out to do the first pitch of the game for their opening day.
That's cool.
So it was cool to see that. But he's been getting some cool gifts for a couple places he's been. So going back, I do still have the Houston Astros at 3.
All right. I guess you have
I couldn't put them.
them.
I couldn't put them below the Yankees. Like that would feel weird at this point. I just don't feel like we're better than the Astros, even though the Astros are 3 and 4 to start the season.
Yeah,
again, Jose Altuve is going to come back. That's going to change their team up completely. And it's the Astros until they prove to me over a consistent run that they are a 500 ball club. I just don't see it.
Yeah, they're the Astros. Yeah,
they're going to figure things out. Tampa Bay Rays I have at 4 and the Yankees at 5. But honestly, it could be could be switched. I just feel like I went with the better record on this one, even though they played easier teams.
Yeah, I think they have a higher run differential than we do too.
Yeah.
And which is expected when you've won 2 more games, but yeah.
Yeah. So I would say the Rays right now are above the Yankees. I have the Rays at 4, Yankees at 5, Padres at 6. I think everybody was ready to crown Padres. And I know it just kind of said that with the Dodgers,
on
kind of in the
things,
opposite.
Yeah,
on paper they look really great. Their lineup looks really good. I mean, Tatis is going to be back soon. He had a really good game in the minor league game. Yeah. Saw a couple of highlights from him there. I think he still has a few more games left on his suspension to start this season. So that's why he's in the minors right now. But that'll help. But their biggest thing is going to be that lineup. Or not the lineup, the rotation. Yu Darvish and Blake Snell are really their only 2 good pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody else are basically a bunch of 5s that they kind of hope that are going to be okay. But with that lineup, when it's at its full power, hopefully for them, they put it all together. I got the Guardians at 7. I don't have the Twins up here, but the 2 of them might actually be fighting. I was not really high on the Twins. I really don't think they're as good as they started. Gallo has looked okay.
Oh, yeah. What the heck with Gallo?
He's all of his numbers are up. Like even his contact, his whiff, his own missing balls, chase rate, everything is positive for him.
Yeah.
So good for him. But
good for him, yeah. Can't cut it in New York, but yeah, good for you. I'm sorry, you said the Guardians, and it just made me remember did you see the post from the Guardians about Ramirez?
No.
Right? It was something about
Jose Ramirez, their third baseman?
Yeah. It was something about it seems so random. I don't know. Maybe I'll have to look at their Twitter page about it, see if they've done something else. But it was something about a drug cartel or, coming home from practice. And I was, where is this coming from? What do you want us to do with this information?
Interesting.
I wonder if sorry, that just completely popped in my head and I might be completely off base. There was probably a reason that they posted. I can't imagine that they would just be like, hey, fun fact. But it seemed very seemed odd anyway. Yeah. But sorry, go
You're
on.
Good. Well, I got the to round it off. I got the Mets at 8. They've been dealing with a lot of injuries. Again, you just kind of hope that for their sake that they kind of get things going. I know a lot of Mets fans are upset that Batty is not up. It's kind of like we're upset of Peraza not being up yet. So the Brett Batty, I think is his name, or I think that's how you say his name.
Okay.
He's their third base, and he's not up yet. But I have them at 8. I have number 9, the Toronto Blue Jays. They're, they're still a really potent lineup.
Yeah.
I'd be excited when we get And then I do have the Minnesota Twins at 10. They started off really well, so I'm putting them at 10 to start the season. Again, Gallo is looking good. Correa is looking good. He finally found his team, which is all the way back to where he started from last year. But
yeah, didn't seem like he wanted to stay there. But
it didn't seem like he wanted to stay there. But I don't expect the Twins to remain up there. I do think that they're going to kind of fall away, but just to start the season, I put them at 10. So yeah, that's my power rankings for the first week. So try to do that every week. I'll make it a little bit quicker for producer Cliff next time.
I'm just here to serve you guys.
Oh yeah.
Was there? I think you had one more thing that you wanted to bring up before we closed out.
I can't think of it other than the upcoming series where we'll be playing the Orioles and the Guardians on the road. And then I think they go back home after that to play the Twins. So that'll be, we'll be there for the Orioles home opener tomorrow, which is Friday, and they'll already have played that game. So,
and so this will be out Saturday morning. So,
so it'll be,
it'll be out, we'll be in the middle of the Orioles series as you're listening to this. So,
hopefully that damn wall,
we're going to get a lot of doubles. We're going to get judge doubles.
Stupid. That left field wall is really dumb, and I don't like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they did it on purpose because the Yankees.
I know, because the Yankees own them with home runs, but and I think probably they entice pitchers to come there.
What is fun is that Torres is notoriously really good against the Orioles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he is a righty, so he's going to have to deal with that stupid wall as well.
Yeah.
But hopefully he remains hot. I mean, hopefully that helps him remain hot. Is playing his favorite team to hit against.
Going. Yeah, the game tomorrow on Friday is annoyingly at 3, so it'll be during the workday again. But your day might
I'll be fine.
Yeah, you'll be all right. I'm not going to be good. But Schmidt's pitching, and then
I canceled practice tomorrow, but definitely not for this Yankee game.
No,
the kids are dealing with a lot of we're coming to the end of track season, so they're dealing with a lot of soreness and pain. So I just told them get some cross training in. So it benefits me too.
It's just 2 birds, 1 stone.
Two birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hope that that everybody's been listening to us talk for over an hour. Follow us on Twitter and on Instagram at @DamnYanks_pod and on Facebook at @DamnYanksPod. Like and subscribe our YouTube channel.
Smash that button.
Smash the subscribe button. Hit the notify bell to keep up with all with all of our videos. We did just actually have a video that posted recently today or yesterday.
Check out on Wednesday.
Today, as in Thursday or Wednesday.
On Wednesday, yes, the
reaction video. You can see who both Megan and I have crushes on, according to to our producer Cliff.
Hey, I'm just picking up what you're laying down.
You clearly saw those hard eyes.
Well, your wife is one of them, so.
Yeah.
Oh, he's known this.
Your cousin Karen loves the video, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, great.
Very good. Shout out, Karen.
I had a friend that reached out to me. My co-captain from cross country reached out to me. He said, "I hate the Yankees, but great work with your pod," or something like that.
Oh, really? So, that's cool.
Shout out to Jordan Green if you're watching. But
nice. My friend Holly said she was also listening too. She doesn't care about baseball, but she listens. So, what are you saying?
I said, now you got test him. It's like, so what'd you think of the last pod? And then and see if he actually got the shout out.
Yeah. So anyway, if you've listened so far, Mom, thanks.
Yeah, thanks as always, Mom. Yes.
But yeah, catch us next time. See ya.
See ya.